this person's archive, see what their bias level is?
No, he was very good. Talked about how close he was to winning the Super Bowl. Take a listen.
Rewatching the Super Bowl with, Shanahan and Greasy and all the guys, it's like, dang, like it really was there. We're a couple plays away from winning it, and you got to learn from it. You got to pick your head back up and go to work and try to go get it again. So it was tough. We still look back on it, and it's like, man, we wish we coulda, woulda, but that's life, and so now we got to respond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
You're a couple plays from winning the Super Bowl, and where I get frustrated, because I watched a Super Bowl between those two teams where the Niners were a couple plays away from winning it. A couple plays, Jimmy Garoppolo have a ball batted down. Jimmy Garoppolo missed a guy wide open who had beat the Chiefs for a touchdown, and he got killed for it. And shortly thereafter got run out of town. I watched this Super Bowl where the Niners offense actually didn't function at as high of a level as it did in the previous one, where Brock Purdy has a ball batted down, where he misses a guy running wide open for the Super Bowl. And all the commentary is, man, Brock did his level best in that game. And that's where I think there is a double standard. If people agree with me that this is an overachieving player who it's a hell of a testament that he's where he is, good for him, attaboy, then fine. Then yes, then that's a fine evaluation.
That Patrick Mahomes was an underachieving player in that situation?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Patrick Mahomes is Superman, and you got Brock Purdy who shows up and this little kid who suddenly might will his team to the Super Bowl. As opposed to the billion-dollar man.
So I totally agree. And but the problem with that, because Wild tried to do that same thing on the morning call today. If folks want if we want to have a discussion about the level of play from Mahomes and Purdy in that game, and then the real discussion, which it appears you're implying, which is how good is Patrick Mahomes really? Let's have the discussion. I don't think anyone actually wants to have it. I think they want to throw it out there and then run away from it. If you want to have,
Patrick Mahomes is way better than Brock Purdy.
No,
nobody's
what are we
saying
talking about?
That's not the case.
No, okay, well then, hold on a second. The whole conversation around Brock Purdy is whether or not he's actually this guy. Whether or not he's actually an MVP caliber player. Whether or not he actually
was. Here, the actual conversation was he was.
No, but hold on.
But hold on. He was. Was he in the MVP conversation?
Yes.
Then he is an MVP caliber. Was he in the Super Bowl? Then he is a Super Bowl caliber player.
Okay.
And was he lined up with Patrick Mahomes head to head?
Yes.
Then he was lined up to Patrick Mahomes.
Got it.
Not in this fake world where he's not what he actually is.
In that Super Bowl, were there plays left on the field by Brock Purdy that cost them that Super Bowl?
Yes, just like every Super Bowl loser from Super Bowl I. No one loser has ever played a perfect game. Of course. Jalen Hurts played an amazing game. He also lost the Super Bowl for them.
Correct.
Okay.
Agreed.
It is what it is.
Agreed. Like, when I look at this, like, Brock Purdy is spot on. I think he's right. Where I would disagree with you is what we try to do is we compare these quarterbacks going head to head. And with Brock Purdy, yes, there is a lower level of expectation because of what we've seen he's going up against do. And that's Patrick Mahomes. He's been so good so frequently in the brightest moments and the brightest lights to where Brock Purdy, it's like, okay, if he can do that, then, man, that's impressive. It's not, oh, Brock Purdy is going to come in here and he's going to show up Patrick Mahomes. We expected Patrick Mahomes to do that. And Brock Purdy, but the hope was that he at least keeps up.
That's the revisionist history. The Niners were the favorites. The Niners were supposed to win that game. The Niners were the team that had the ball 3 times in the second half with a chance to go up 2 scores, and on those 3 drives, let me check, got -2 yards and had 3 and outs. The Niners were the team that had, we can show you the plays, the game in their hand 3 separate times.
Look at what we're doing. You're talking about the team, and then we're separating the quarterback.
No.
So if it were just the quarterbacks, no one would say Brock Purdy is the favorite. But we're talking the roster, so yes, based on what we had seen all season long and what the 49ers have been able to do, I'm outside my mind if I don't think they're the better team.
And so the point that I am trying to make is I feel like folks are trying to, sorry for the cliche, have their cake and eat it too with Brock, which is Here are his numbers. Here's his career. He is, to Wiles' point, an MVP caliber player, while simultaneously having this take. But if you criticize him the way you would any MVP caliber player who had, we can show you the plays, I think, these 3 opportunities with the better team to win a Super Bowl and doesn't, that was
that
one.
was the play.
No, hold on. There's
free blitzer.
So whose job is that, Coach? Whose job is that to recognize that? I'm just asking. Whose job is it to recognize?
He got the ball out. It was a quick pass.
Yes,
It was a 90s pass.
correct. Okay, so fine, that one.
I wouldn't have picked that one. But
No,
I think
it's the 3 plays they had to win the game.
Well,
And so you assign blame who you want. Another one. Again, that's another time.
Guy
You're right.
hold up.
You're right. The quarterback.
Didn't they blow the protection here? Oh,
Okay. So
a free defensive lineman in his face.
You know what? You're right. That's got nothing to do with the quarterback. That's fine too. I'd love to know the explanation on this one, because this is what got Jimmy Garoppolo run out of San Francisco in the same end zone, different stadium, obviously. The same thing. A guy wide open who then has to slow down and the ball's missed. What is it?
I mean,
that was
back of the end
much
zone.
different than Jimmy Garoppolo's. Look at the coverage here.
This is, for the record, I apologize on this. This is the wrong play.
Okay,
There's
I'm like,
I apologize. The
Gotta slow down 'cause it's the back of the end
the
zone.
Debo play where the guy ran wide open, that's a great play by McDuffie. But you guys, the one that we talked about the day after, I apologize. The wrong play's running there. That was a McDuffie play.
Okay.
But the point that I'm making, I don't think there are any top 5 MVP quarterbacks who come out of that game and
unscathed, like Lamar.
And that to me is not like, I think it's consistent for folks who believe what I believe to do what I did after the game, which is not kill him.
But the 2
like
plays
I did his best.
The 2 plays you just showed, there's a free blitzer and they blew the protection.
Coach,
what are you going to do?
Because you're right. Football is a complicated game. And there are a lot of times the quarterback gets undue blame.
No question.
But for all the star quarterbacks, that's the cost of admission. And folks want to say this guy's a star quarterback, but if you do that, you're unfair. And that,
Nick,
to me, is hypocritical.
You showed a couple plays where he missed throws, literally a guy in his face.
Okay.
Unblocked. It's like, I'd like to see Patrick Mahomes make those plays.
Okay.
Cowboys' new plan for CD.